Donald Trump's pick to run national intelligence to replace Tulsi Gabbard is a guy named Jay Clayton. And Jay Clayton was reduced to sitting in silence to avoid acknowledging that Joe Biden won the 2020 election. Here is Senator Jon Ossoff in a clinical taking apart of Clayton, who tries to pull the whole, well, Joe Biden was sworn in, but the question is who won. Ossoff is really good at this.
Yes or no? Did the President of the United States pardon a convicted narco-trafficker?
Yes.
Who won the 2020 election?
I'm not going to do this with you.
This is a job interview. We've established that you have an obligation to be honest and forthright with the committee. Yes, you do have an obligation to be honest and forthright with the committee?
Yes.
Who won the 2020 election?
Like I said, I'm not going to get into that with you.
But you do have an obligation to be honest and forthright with the committee.
Is anything that I just said not honest or forthright?
Yes, you're not being honest or forthright. Who won the 2020 election?
I think I've answered the question. We can keep doing this.
Well, we're going to keep doing it because you're not being honest and forthright.
I'm not going to engage in the theater.
It's a simple question, Mr. Clayton.
And I've answered
Who
it.
won the 2020 presidential election?
I've answered it.
You're here asking for the support of senators to lead America's intelligence community. We've established that you have an obligation to be honest and forthright with this committee and with the American public, but you refuse to answer a simple matter of fact about the 2020 election. Is that right?
No, that's not right.
Then answer the question. Who won the 2020 election?
I have answered the question.
Answer it. What is your answer?
I've given you my answer.
What is your answer? You refuse to answer a basic question about who won a presidential election, but you asked to lead America's intelligence community? Isn't it humiliating to be unable to answer this question? Yes. To have to indulge the president's delusions? We know, you know, everybody in this room knows the truthful answer to that question. Why can you not give it?
I think I gave you the answer.
This is an extraordinary illustration of how a political lie survives even after it's been disproven. The correction doesn't get the attention of the initial claim. I believe Jon Ossoff is right when he says Clayton knows who won the 2020 election. It wasn't a technicality. It's not, well, I don't know who won, but Biden became the president. No, everybody in that room knows who won, and the audience knows. Clayton's problem is that when you say the answer out loud, it has a cost. It's a political cost. Trump has made acceptance of his election lies a loyalty test, and Clayton is looking for a job from Donald Trump. Now, I write about this dynamic extensively in my new book, Pay Attention. People integrate information into their identities, and correcting misinformation is a lot more than just, oh, here's a fact I update. Because when your identity is based on these lies, quite frankly, when you correct the information, you're revisiting an identity that you've built, which might mean breaking with your political tribe, or it might sacrifice your standing within it, in this case, your job with Donald Trump. Clayton was offered a choice between an obvious fact and the position he wants inside Trump World Director of National Intelligence. And what he's choosing is a silence that sustains the lie about 2020 for everyone watching. Now, look at how easy this is. Hey, David, who won the 2024 election? Donald Trump. See how easy that is? Do I like that result? No. Do I think he's been a good president? No. Do I wish that he hadn't won? Yes. But that's it. He won. And Biden won in 2020. Trump supporters see another powerful person treating the election result as if it's unsettled, and that just reinforces a falsehood through repetition and social validation. And that's how lies become institutionalized. First, really quick, a word from our sponsor. Who doesn't love getting away during the summer? But traveling can make habits get kind of weird because you're sleeping somewhere different. It's a different schedule. You might be eating at different times. So all your basic stuff isn't automatic anymore. This is why our sponsor AG1 just makes a lot of sense for summer. 1 scoop, 8 ounces of water, simple habit to keep high quality nutritional support in your routine, even when your day is kind of wacky. AG1 is a daily health drink with a multivitamin, pre and probiotics, and a bunch of other great stuff. The next gen formula has 75 plus ingredients that just help to fill common nutrient gaps. No big deal, easy, supports gut health and energy. One small, simple thing, it'll make a noticeable difference for you, whether you're traveling or at home. Visit drinkag1.com/Pakman to get a free AG1 travel case with 7 free AG1 travel packs in your welcome kit with your first subscription order while supplies last. That's drinkag1.com/Pakman. The link is in the description. Now back to the video. Jay Clayton doesn't have to go out there and go, I believe it was rigged and Trump won. He has learned that he just shouldn't acknowledge reality. And silence and looking really stupid is better than acknowledging reality. Now, here is Senator Mark Kelly trying the same sort of general area of discussion with very little success.
So can you tell me why Joe Biden was certified as the winner of the 2020 election?
I'm going back to my constitutional law here, but I don't want to continue to have a debate about this, but I believe.
Understand that there's really no debate. These guys are creating a problem by just not going, oh yeah, Trump lost.
He had the most electoral votes.
So he won the election.
He followed our process, had the most electoral votes, was declared the winner. And
who has the most electoral votes? Is it the person that wins or the person that loses?
I think that's your characterization. I'm not going to continue to do this.
The reason why we struggle with this, and I think it's especially important in the job you're nominated for, is because it seems that folks who are nominated for these positions just fundamentally refuse to disagree with something the president says. And the problem I have with this is he isn't in the room today. You're going to be in a room with him many times. And at times, you should have a difference of opinion. And if you can't disagree with him when he's not in the room, are you going to be able to disagree with him when you're sitting across from him in the Oval Office or the Situation Room? That's what I struggle with, because this job is different. This job, it's not about softening the edges when the truth is unpleasant. It's about delivering information and making sure the president understands that information. And by the way, people risk their lives to get this information. And if it's not transmitted to the president, if he doesn't understand it, I mean, there's going to be disagreements. We expect that. But I really struggle with this, especially in your position, because you can't disagree with him on this, because he doesn't like the fact that he lost in 2020.
Look,
as you said, Joe Biden was certified because he got the most electoral votes. That means he won, but you still refuse to say that.
And I was sitting at the SEC when this occurred, and I can tell you that maybe people worked harder, but I don't think anybody I know worked harder to make an effective transition.
These people really are pathetic. Now, Senator Kelly kind of identifies the real qualification Trump demands, which is not subject matter knowledge about what you're going to be doing, in this case, running national intelligence. It's, are you willing to suppress your own judgment when reality conflicts with Donald Trump? And Clayton says, I'll be candid, I'll be independent once I'm in the job. But this is the job interview, and he can't candidly answer one of the easiest factual questions that exists. And it gets directly to the title of the segment. Is this some kind of mental illness, or is it just fear? In Clayton's case, fear and ambition, I think, explain the behavior. He understands the truth. He understands telling the truth may cost him the position. Trump created an environment where You could be a highly accomplished person, but you got to sit there silently. You must not say Joe Biden just genuinely won the election. We talk in the book Pay Attention about how repetition, social enforcement, reinforcement, and these trusted messengers make these lies very durable. And this is the next stage of that process. The lies become a condition of employment. And when you select government officials according to their willingness to accommodate the reality of the leader rather than reality as we know it, it is a very dangerous situation. Make sure you've pre-ordered my book where I delve into this extensively. There's a limited number of signed copies left at davidpakman.com/attention.